Join us for lively discussion about the A-State community. Each week, we'll meet with a variety of faculty, staff, and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. And hello, everyone. Welcome to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Johnathan Reaves, Academic Advisor at Arkansas State University. Well, it's a great time to be a fan of the Red Wolves, from football playing in the Camellia Bowl last season to men's basketball having a great showing as they had their first televised match since 1997. To the baseball, off to their hottest start since the late 90s. This is one of the most exciting times for A-State athletics. And joining me today is Athletics Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Fan Engagement, Brad Bobo. Brad, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on A-State Connections.
It's a win-win for me, an excuse to come here, which is always good, and then to talk about what's going on over at our place. It's a fun time to sit down and do that.
Man, it is a great time to be a Red Wolf right now, to watch sports.
You know, it is, and we were talking before we went on air. Sometimes it goes so fast that that internally sometimes you do kind of almost fail to realize how good things are going. But we've had a lot of good stuff happening. The stuff you mentioned is even just sort of scratching the surface. So it's a great time to sit down and talk about what's happening across our sports.
You know, we talked about the game last night, or actually last week, Troy, there on ESPNU. And that atmosphere, watching it on television, was just electric. I can only imagine how it was actually being there for the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of those that I hope people are talking about for a while, and I certainly think it's one that, as you said, we had not had a nationally televised home game in there since December of '97, and after kind of what I think the television people saw Thursday night, I don't think we'll have to wait that long for the next one. And look, there's a lot of stuff we can do internally to try to create an environment with promotions and music and this and that and ticket deals. There's all this stuff we can try to do, but at the end, it's got to be sort of organic, and the crowd just has to come in and take ownership of it, and that's what happened. It's what happened from before the tip, and it stayed that way through the final horn. Our team played great. Our team, our basketball team played great. Our team, athletics-wise, had a good plan in place and executed it, but the stars of the show to me were those fans who came in and really made First National Bank Arena a place that would be really, really hard for somebody to come in and win.
Yeah, I mean, they brought it for sure.
It
was fantastic. That was a really good time to be able to see everybody out there. And it was really funny watching ESPN Plus. I mean, they are having some audio issues there at the first of the game. And as people know who've been to a basketball game, that the fans for the Red Wolves, they don't sit down until you have the first shot. Well, they didn't come on until the first shot. So I like how they kind of played into that a little bit.
I think, we actually have a PA announcement that says, all right, fans, we don't sit down until the Red Wolves score. And I'll give either the director, the producer, the play-by-play guy, somebody credit for hearing that and then using it to their advantage when they got through those technical difficulties and got the broadcast going.
Yeah, that was really good. So that was fantastic to be able to watch it. And, of course, we're showing a little bit of it right now. Look at that crowd. Yeah, wow, that was fantastic. Look at that.
This clip here made the rounds for the next 24, 48 hours. And just the sound this crowd made in this play, to me, I don't think there's any doubt. It's the loudest the building's been since the 2005 WNIT game against Arkansas. Yeah. And it was to the rafters that night, 10,892. This crowd of 5,100 made almost as much noise Thursday night, and it sure was fun to be a part of.
And the advantage of that is that, hey, let's go ahead. ESPN is saying, hey, let's go ahead and let's have it at Jonesboro again. That would be fantastic to be able to have it. So it's like, when are we going to have it next time?
Absolutely. So I do not think it'll be 25 years.
No, I don't think so either. But speaking of basketball, we've got tournament time coming up and all sorts of stuff. It is, as we said, it's just a great time to be watching the Red Wolves.
Yeah, both of our teams, you look at tomorrow night, as we sit here, tomorrow night, Friday is the final day of the regular season. Both of our teams have their seeds locked in. Both have at least one bye in the tournament. You know, the women know they're the 10 seed. They know when they'll play on Wednesday night. And then the men, not just having won 6 in a row, but they've won 6 in a row and then had everything else beyond their control that needed to happen.
Right.
To where last night they locked down the 4 seed and the double bye already to the quarterfinals of the Sun Belt tournament. So our men won't take the floor until Saturday the 9th for their first tournament game.
In a way, though, I kind of wonder about how you keep that momentum going if you've got the double bye, because as you keep playing and all that, you know, you kind of build off of that. I think that would be, in a way, maybe a little bit of a disadvantage or a little bit of a challenge because you want to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think the Sun Belt has tried it a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, a lot of the things they've tried over the years have been done in the name of trying to get the top seed the best chance to win the tournament. The Sun Belt had a lot of history with the top seed not winning the Sun Belt tournament. And then when the top seed would win the tournament, a lot of times they'd go win a game in the NCAA tournament, but they were having a hard time getting there.
Yeah.
So between that and the fact that they also now are working through having 28 teams in Pensacola playing on one floor, that's a lot of basketball in a week. So, you know, it's a couple of the reasons why I think the double bye is in place.
Well, but it's still going to be a lot of fun to be able to watch and to be able to see how the Red Wolves do in the tournament. And March Madness is here. Boy, it's exciting time.
And before we get there, you know, I want to mention, you know, the men are on the road, but the women are here tomorrow night for their last home game of the season.
That's right.
You know, a lot of stuff happening. It's their senior night. Miss Arkansas seems like she's going to be hanging out at the arena tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So first time we've had her here since Miss America, where she just absolutely killed it.
Yeah,
she was phenomenal at Miss America. So it'd be good to have Corey Keller here tomorrow night. Rally towels like we had at the men's game. We got rally towels for the women's game tomorrow. So a lot of stuff happening for the final regular season home game tomorrow night.
Very good. Going to March Madness, going to basketball. It's a lot of fun. Baseball is a lot of fun as well to be able to watch.
Sure is. They are off to, as you said, one of their best starts in a long time, even dropping the game here Tuesday night. I mean, baseball's crazy. You don't win them all in baseball. Nobody wins them all.
Sure.
In fact, by the time we got to 8-0, there were only 16 teams in the country out of 350 or whatever Division I teams. There were only 16 that were undefeated at the time. And when we got to 8-0, there were only 2 8-0 teams in the country. It was Arkansas State and Alabama. Yeah. So they're off to a great start, and they play literally in one of the best conferences in America. The Sun Belt, year in and year out, is a top 5 conference in college baseball. And so if you can compete, and win the Sun Belt, or even finish in the top third of the Sun Belt, you're going to have a great chance to play in a regional. If you get high enough, you're going to have a great chance to host a regional. So literally, you can win a national championship in college baseball from the Sun Belt Conference, and it's fun to see the start Coach Raffo and our guys are off to.
Absolutely. And so that's a lot of fun there. And another sport, football, will be coming up here. We made mention to the football season and the football team. Tell us about, kind of give us a little bit of a preview on what's coming up.
So spring football's coming up, right? They're coming off another top-ranked signing class in the Sun Belt. The third straight year that somebody has ranked our signing class the best in the league. Spring football is about to start. Circle your calendars for April 20th. That's the spring game, and there's a lot of stuff happening April 20th. We'll have more information about that coming up, so just kind of circle that day as the day you're going to be on campus. And then you talked about March Madness. You know, March 1st historically tends to be a day that the Sun Belt likes to make some news from a football standpoint, and more specifically from a football schedule standpoint. So I would suggest people maybe keep their eyes open the next 24 hours or so.
All right. So maybe we need to bring you back to be able to talk about some things as well. So
we'll just have some stuff to talk about.
Boy, this is really fun because now you've just basically made a lot of people say, okay, what in the world? We've got to find out what's going on. And that will lead right into saying, okay, we need to go and get our tickets as well.
Hope so. I mean, attendance was up big last year. The 2-year jump, I think, is somewhere, honestly, almost 50% increase over a 2-year average. Coach Jones sort of preached patience as he sort of took the long way in rebuilding this thing to get good and stay good. We saw it pay off with a bowl bid, and I can promise you this is not a team that's going to go into the season just thinking about making a bowl. They're now think they're ready to take that step up and compete for a Sun Belt championship.
That's fantastic. So we'll be watching that. There's other sports that are going on too: rugby, tennis, track and field, all sorts of stuff.
I mean, yeah, ho-hum. Track won 2 more conference championships, sweeping the indoor Sun Belt meet. It's the 5th straight year we've swept that. So it's the last 10 indoor championships have all come home with Arkansas State.
Wow.
They're doing similar stuff in outdoor track and field, doing similar stuff in cross country. Bowling, they're the reigning national runner-up. They've won their last 2 tournaments. Postseason plays coming, the conference tournament, the NCAA championship. It's literally a program that's done every possible thing you can do except win the national championship, and that's coming. I promise you it's coming, and hopefully this is the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been fun to watch, and I know they've been so close to be able to do it. But I will tell you what,
Game 7, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I think you're right. I think this could be the year for that. So they're fun to watch. Watched the women's tennis team over the weekend in doubles and then also singles action against Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
They look really good.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, thanks for helping us out with that thing. But
anytime.
I would tell you, would not telling you how to do your job, but sometime you need to put Sujay Lama, new head tennis coach, in this chair. He's a really fascinating guy.
Oh, he's great, yeah.
Huge personality, but it's got a great story that people, I think, would really enjoy to hear. And I'm telling you, he's done, in a really, really short window of time, he's already made a big impact on that tennis program. With essentially a roster he inherited. He's already eclipsed last year's win total with a whole bunch of the season to go. He's got an interest in our tennis program that has maybe never been there in terms of people that want to go watch them play. He's an infectious sort of personality, and you see it working. I mean, the results are already showing up.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I love watching, how he was interacting with, being so encouraging, coaching the way that he does. And you're right. I mean, he just brings it, and you just can't help but to get fired up when you're watching. You're watching the way that he's coaching and all that, and just a super nice guy to be able to talk to as well.
Yeah, you would enjoy kind of getting to take a deeper dive there.
All right, well, we'll definitely have to do that. That's fantastic. So we'll do that as well. Brad Bobo is the Athletics Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Fan Engagement. He's joining me here for this edition of A-State Connections. Now, as we go to commercial break, we'd like to take a minute to remember longtime staff member here at Arkansas State University, Gina Bowman, who passed away this week. Bowman retired in 2022 as Director of Media Relations in the Office of Communications and Marketing, where she was employed for the last 14 years of her A-State career. A talented writer who became very knowledgeable about all the university's athletic programs. She was promoted to Assistant Athletic Director for Media Relations in 1994, becoming one of the first female sports information directors for an NCAA Division I institution. She also served as Arkansas State's Senior Women Administrator from 1994 to 2002. We here at ASU-TV and the School of Media and Journalism send all of our thoughts and prayers to the many family and friends of Gina Bowman during this difficult time.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
When you say experience counts, it's experience that counts for a lifetime.
boxes, boxes. I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it. Quitting was never an option. Exhausted. This passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. And welcome back to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Johnathan Reaves. Today we're continuing our conversation with Brad Bobo from A-State Athletics. And thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Before we went to break, we talked about Gina Bowman, who's meant so much to Arkansas State University. I want to get your thoughts on Gina and what she meant to you.
So I was thinking about that, obviously over the course of the week, and like if I really took it back to my first dealings with Gina Bowman, it'd probably go back to being a high school senior. But beyond that, when I was a student here going through this program, while I was in the radio TV program at the time, I was working in the newspaper business. And Gina would credential me to cover games, so I dealt with her there. And then one that I really hadn't thought about in a while until I was getting ready to come visit with you is when I was working on the newscast that we did in this studio.
Right.
It was 25 years ago, as a matter of fact. One of the packages I did for the newscast was a package about Gina Bowman and the work she and her staff did in the sports information office at Arkansas State. Wow. So got a chance to work with and alongside her for a long time. And if you've seen anything at all, and it'd be hard for you not to see something about Gina this week because everybody has wanted to pay their tribute, and everything everybody says has been spot on. The kindest soul you'll ever come across, and she was A-State to the core. Showed up here as a freshman after graduating high school, showed up here to get a journalism degree, and never left.
Never left until she retired in 2022.
Yep.
And just and even then, when she did that, she was still a Red Wolf supporter always. That. You know, one of the things about it is also she was a trailblazer at that point, because when we were just reading on there about being one of the first women to be able to hold a position like that, and that speaks volumes as to what she meant to sports in general.
And that's true. And the thing about it is, it's probably nothing she ever set out to do or even thought about doing. She was just doing her job, but she was, for a while, the only sports information director of a Division I-A football team. And in 2021, actually in 2022, when she was about to retire, she did our Second to None podcast and was telling stories about going to schools for road football games and them not wanting her in the press box because she was a woman. And she wasn't trying to make a statement. She wasn't meaning to blaze a trail, but she did. And it's just kind of one more layer to that legacy that I would say in the history of this institution, the only person who's worked directly with more student athletes or coaches than Gina Bowman is Ryan Carroll. I'd say that's it. I mean, in terms of just direct impact with the people that came through our program, only Ron has probably worked with more than Gina Bowman did over, 46 years at the university and 32 of those in the sports information office.
Yeah, and so she really, I think, encapsulated what it meant to be Arkansas State.
A-State made.
A-State made, that's right. So once again, lots of prayers going out to the family, to the Bowman family for that, and so we'll definitely be keeping that in thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. Want to talk about A-State athletics. That's one thing that she loved so much is A-State athletics, obviously, because not only did she work it, but she enjoyed it and lived it. And A-State athletics just continues to go and continue to do so many good things, as we were talking about in the first segment. But I know one of the things that Arkansas State is looking at as well is, we don't want to stop here. We want to keep on improving. And some of those improvements come by way of renovations and other projects that are kind of taking place. So I want to talk about that for a little bit, about what are some of the plans that A-State has in athletics to be able to either do some renovations or to do some other things to be able to keep taking that sports to the next level.
Right. I mean, if you're standing still, you're falling behind, right?
Right,
and,
exactly.
And you see, you look at our facilities have already seen things happen. Football, obviously, chief among them, with the Allison Tower and the North End Zone and the Student Activity Center. And on down the line, lots of our sports have seen improvements along the way. There are obviously a couple of specific things coming. I think some of those in track and field. There's some improvements we'll see over there. And certainly a program that's earned everything it gets under Coach Jim Patchell, another A-State alum who's leading that program, and they're just churning out championship after championship, as we talked about earlier. And then obviously I think the one, that's no big secret and the one people want to talk about the most is baseball. Mm-hmm. It is the one facility that really hasn't had a whole lot done for it. And it's no mystery, and I'm not speaking out of turn to say we're woefully behind in baseball facilities because of what we talked about with the Sun Belt. You're playing in one of the best conferences literally in America. And from a facility standpoint, it's accurate to say we've not equipped Coach Raffo to compete on a level playing field with the rest of people in our league who just mostly have phenomenal facilities. So I can promise you that our people know that. I can promise you that there are conversations being had on a daily basis about kind of what those next steps are. I know there was once upon a time where some drawings were out there, but I don't know that they had a lot of a plan attached to it. And a goal without a plan is a wish. Mm-hmm. Right. The next time our fans see drawings or plans for a baseball stadium, it's not going to be a wish. It's going to be the plan, and it's going to have a plan, and it will have, financial numbers attached to it is what it will take to make that a reality. And I would tell people that they would probably see that sooner than later.
Yeah, that is one of the things about that. Now, there is for some of those things that you're talking about, like they're they've been talking about some renovations at First National Bank Arena. They've been talking about that there in other areas. People can actually start donating for some of those things and be able to kind of put that into a pool.
Sure.
Kind of tell us about how people could get involved in that.
Yeah, there's so many ways to give, and we need them in every way, right? Your lifeblood is the people that buy your season tickets and give the donations attached to that, and just the money it takes to keep this thing going, to have between 300 and 400 student athletes in 16 sports. That's an expensive undertaking. Mm-hmm. So sometimes there's just money, period, needed to do that and to help our coaches and our programs beyond what they can do within their budgets. But then there obviously, there are specific capital things coming. And so if you got in contact with our folks at the Red Wolves Foundation, they can fill you in on kind of what those are. They can talk with you about what the plan is at track. And I can promise you, if you already came up wanting to give money for something right now for what's going to be done at that baseball stadium, they could make that happen.
Yeah, right. And so once again, a lot of great things going on. It's a really exciting time to enjoy.
There is. And I hope our people, I hope our fans and students and whoever's watching this, let's all take a second to step back and realize there's a lot of positive momentum right now. Mm-hmm. And that's not always the case. It hadn't always been the case. But it is the case right now. So let's enjoy it. Let's do the things required to keep it going and even build on this, because there's an awful lot of things, an awful lot of projects, an awful lot of our programs heading in the right direction all at once, and it is fun to be a part of.
Absolutely. So a lot of people are enjoying that now. We kind of take a little bit of a summer thing, and then we'll get right to go into the fall. And that before we let you run, thank you for coming up. Anything else you'd like to add about sports?
Well, like I said, I think if you're watching this live, March 1st, I think you'll see some news you're interested in. Look, and when it kind of being cryptic, we were talking about the football schedule, right? And I know you can go out there and you already see the non-conference portion of our schedule, and you already know the teams we're playing in conference play and where we're playing them. We just don't know when. Tomorrow we should hopefully get the rest of that information. But the first 2 weeks of the season are here, and they're against UCA and Tulsa, two opponents that I think people be really interested in seeing play here. So hopefully we'll get that thing started with a bang. So be on the lookout for that. Make your plans now to get those tickets. And then, like I said, jump in with baseball. They're playing great. Now, they're gone until next weekend, but they'll be back here. And then Sunbelt plays right around the corner. Again, it doesn't matter. If we're here for a conference weekend, we're playing a good team.
Yeah.
Period. Because there's nothing but.
Exactly.
So the crowd's been great. I mean, they had a near record crowd Tuesday night for that game against UCA. So hopefully people will stay on board with those guys. Now just continue to grow. And, got more basketball tomorrow night. And who knows what happens with basketball from next week and beyond. And it's just it's fun times. And so follow A-State Red Wolves on social media, astateredwolves.com online. And then I know we talked a lot real specifically one time before about downloading that mobile app, our A-State Athletics app, because it's just going to continue to be a communications and ticketing piece that's going to get more and more important.
Yep. And also don't forget about the spring game that'll be coming up April 20th.
April 20th.
And I better remember that because that's my wife's birthday. So,
listen,
I better remember that.
And I'll just kind of, for a little bit of a teaser, I mean, you'll see the way this is sort of marketed and packaged. That day on April 20th, in addition to the spring game, track and field is hosting its home meet that weekend. Tennis has its last home match on the courts here on campus that day, and baseball's home in Sunbelt action. So there's 4 home events on April 20th, and they're going to be packaged and scheduled as such to where folks can catch some of all of it. So be looking for more details on that.
Just pick a place to tailgate and just go to all other places.
That's right.
That'd be awesome. So thank you, Brad. We really appreciate you as always. It's good to have you back in the studio.
No, thank you guys, and for all you do for us, not just us, for what you guys do for this campus and every single part of it. It's awesome to see, and I love looking out here and seeing these students run these cameras and across that glass in the production room. It's what it's all about. Happy to be here.
They're doing a fantastic job. And we'll also work on getting Sujay up here, too.
It'll be good.
Coach Lama, that'd be fantastic.
You'll enjoy it.
Very good. That'll do it for this edition of A-State Connections. I want to thank my guest, Brad Bobo, for joining me here on A-State Connections today. Also want to thank creative media production instructor Dustin Sullivan and his amazing students, as Brad referenced. They're always doing a great job behind the scenes running the show. Also thanks to Jacob Keene and Timmy Arquette for their help on the show today. We'll be back next week for another edition of A-State Connections on ASU-TV. So thanks for joining us, and so long, everyone.